Mm-mm. We're live now, though. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Whoever's watching, they probably gonna watch it on the replay because we're supposed to be here like 30 minutes ago, but
Right.
I had errands and stuff.
Life happens. Life happens. I had errands too. And so
I had errands.
and I got off of work and then I came straight, cooked dinner, and I barely missed it by an inch. So listen, we're here. And we are again, this is Race and Races, and this is your first time coming on. Please like, share, and subscribe our page on YouTube. We're also on Facebook, and we have an Instagram and a Twitter page. So check us on there. We'd be posting some stuff.
I heard Twitter sucks these days, so maybe we'll do like a live Twitter thing one day.
We should do a live.
I heard Twitter is like but
yeah. Apparently, apparently now with Elon Musk at the helm, you can purchase blue check now and all that other stuff. So there's no.
And then even with the purchasing blue check, people are purchasing them with ridiculous names and doing all kind of dumb stuff, and it's really like no control over there anymore. So
Instagram and Twitter just not organized like it used to be. But I digress.
Yeah. We ain't come here to talk about no Elon Musk.
We sure didn't. But listen, y'all, like, share, subscribe.
Yes.
And then go and watch some of our videos. Please like those videos too. If you can go down the list and like them all, we would appreciate that.
I think it's about 116 videos on there. I mean, I'm not telling you to make that kind of time commitment, but just go ahead and check them out.
Just check them out.
And as dark as I am, I feel like I look pale today. Because I'm so like. I was like this, and I ain't get to put no eyebrows on, no nothing.
You still look good, girl.
All good. I'm cute though, but I'm the hair like a little rough,
Okay, it's all right. Listen, you look cute. You still look cute though, and you still rocking it. Listen, I keep telling people all the time with her color. She looks beautiful in every color. She looks good in green, red, yellow. It don't matter. It just looks good on her, and I'd be jealous. I'd be like, I hate you. I hate that you look so good in these colors. But
I think I wore a suit like about a couple of weeks ago, so they were like, she had that on already. Yes. All right, y'all. So we got some stuff to talk about. We're gonna try to make this show like 30 minutes today, right? Because
we're gonna make it.
We got some things to do, and I'm trying to get to that Pines Democratic Club meeting today. I think it's at Brew House Brew something. So if you live in Pembroke Pines, head on over there. There's a Democratic Club meeting. Check that out. They're starting to put out a weekly schedule so you can, because it's about to be like campaign season. People are making announcements. Offices that they're running for. So if you're running for anything local or statewide or whatever, you got to start meeting folks and going to these different clubs and get people to put your message out there. So.
Yep, and the Parkland and Coral Springs Democratic Club is also having a luncheon on May 7th. If you all are interested, we'll post the flyer on our page. Tickets are available, and
you gotta pay to go. What's up with that?
Yeah, you gotta pay to go.
Y'all fancy over there. You gotta pay to go.
They gotta take care of their clubs. They gotta pay to go. So
okay,
I'll post it. So if you guys want to try it.
If you're a candidate, you need to go ahead and do that.
If you are running for office, I suggest you go to this lunch.
Get to know the folks that can vote for you and encourage others to vote for you.
Especially if you're running countywide, you gotta hit them places. All right. Yes. So your president decided. Yesterday? Your president announced yesterday that he was running for president.
I think he needed to do that to make people feel like we don't have, because I think folks were worried about Ron DeSantis, which is the current governor of Florida, and Donald Trump. Even though he's under indictments in several different jurisdictions, he still insists on him being the president in 2024. So I think Joe Biden needed to make that announcement for people to be like, okay, at least I think the data shows now that he is the person that can beat either one of them, right? But there is, of course, concern of his age, because bruh man gonna be about 82 or something like that by the time. Yeah, I think he'll be like 82 then. So right now he's good, and I know some folks may have some current concerns about his VP because they may or may not want her to ever be president. But right now, I think it's a way to just let people know, like, listen, he's in here to continue to try to make the progress that he's been making, because he's not getting credit for a lot of the things that he's doing. A lot of Republican governors, even though their state senators voted against, infrastructure and all of these, those COVID relief and all those different benefits that the people are getting, they're taking credit for, like, oh, we got a surplus and we got money to give folks. And, they're picking and choosing who they're giving the money to. But these are all things that the Democrats and the Joe Biden and Biden-Harris administration have got pushed through different negotiations, and Republican governors are taking credit for them. So his announcement, all that to say this, is that I think his announcements is a way to just get people to know that he is willing and ready to continue the work that he's doing. And it'll also help other Democrats who are going to be, who have Senate seats that are open, that are up for re-election, and who may have possibilities of beating other Republicans. Just know that we want to continue to have a Democratic administration, and hopefully it will encourage others to give the House back to the Democrats too, because that's still in play. I think they're only off by like 5 or 6 electeds, and so if he can provide the support to get at least those folks in office, then that will help.
I think, I know a couple of people posted saying that he said he was going to be one term, and then he announced. I think it's necessary. The other thing that I was hearing that was circulating is that people are pressuring Donald Trump not pressuring, but basically suggesting that DeSantis be his VP. I think people need to be concerned, because those two people on a ticket is a very dangerous combination
for everybody. I think it's dangerous for Trump because he might put something in his drink. I mean, it's all of it is just.
I just know that notion and those talks are permeating out there, and that could be a possibility. And I think we need to operate.
And it shouldn't be.
That is a real possibility, though.
Go ahead. You didn't interrupt me. Why am I interrupting you?
No, it's okay. No. I'm just saying that we need to look at it as a real possibility. That's all I'm saying.
Listen. America don't want to implode. Okay, it doesn't want to blow. Because listen, that how, like, that's self-destruction to me. That's all. That's the only way. There's no other way for me to say that. Like, if they truly, if this country, in all of its whatever you want to call it, allow those two individuals to be the leaders of the free world, to me it's just self-destruction. It's like they're like, you know what, we just want China to win, we want Russia to win, you know what I'm saying? Like, America's over, and here it is. To me, that's just a decision to declare America no longer being a superpower, and it's lost its place.
But I have to tell you, I think 80 million Americans think that's the golden ticket. I'm just saying.
81 said no. So
I'm hoping now
it is 80 million that said it. 81 said no. So, or 83, or however many extra people came out and voted. Not that they voted twice, but other folks that came out and voted. I can't imagine. I can't.
I don't even want to imagine it either, but I just want people to understand that's the conversation, and that could be
use it as motivation for you to go vote, bring 5 people with you, and have them encourage others to go vote against that being reality.
There needs to be some carpooling in 2024. There needs to be a caravan. There needs to be some buses purchased by people or rented by people to bring buttloads of people to vote, because I'm telling you right now, if that is what the conversation is, and that could be a real possibility, nobody of color is safe.
Nobody of nobody. This ain't, like, that's one of the things we need to stop talking about too. Not that we should stop. We need to talk about it, but we also need to expand that conversation.
Sure.
Because this isn't about, like, these things aren't about race. These things are about issues. Like, I mean, when you just deal with, at least for us living in Florida, what DeSantis is doing just with issues alone, you forget the race part, like, right? Like, we're Black women here talking about this. Forget the race part. This man wants permitless carry. This man has a 6-week abortion ban. And, he's doing all of these things with school. They're banning books. He's trying to he's picking a fight with Disney that he's never going to win, right? At the cost of, whatever taxpayer money, he's allowing insurance companies to just raise their rates and do whatever they want, however they want it. I mean, every day, like my homeowners and my mortgage went up $700 a month because of the price of my insurance. A friend of mine's, hers went up $1,000 a month because of her insurance. Another one of my friend who's a renter, she went to go pay her rent. They said, oh no, your rent is going up $650. These are the real life things that people are dealing with. So if you just stay on the issues alone, there's no way you want that individual to be in charge of the entire country. The former 45 was the person that he created, just his 4 years created more debt than every president before him combined, right? So you got a person that's fiscally irresponsible, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have another individual who can't deal with what the real issues are. So he deals with distractions and continue to disrupt the lives of folks. Mm-hmm. So
listen, you're talking about
real life right here.
It is real life, and all of us. I mean, you're talking about $500, $1,000, whatever. Mine went up $1,500. My mortgage went up $1,500, and I'm telling you, it is not.
And I'm not, and most people aren't making that much more money a month to cover this difference. Literally got to figure out what is it that you're about to give up in order for you to have a place to live.
And after COVID, a lot of jobs, we had to cut down on a lot of things pays had to get cut.
There was nothing left to cut, right? It's like, what else do
you do? Like, you lost money depending on what you were doing. And now you're in a space where you're trying to get back onto a space that's normal. And then now you have the rate, the inflation of rent and mortgages. Yep. You have all that stuff. And instead of him, the governor of this state, making people a priority, he's putting money over people.
Mm-hmm. And just think of like the flooding that happened in Fort Lauderdale just a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Imagine that. So that's an infrastructure problem that people don't want to talk about. So all the people who's thinking like, oh, infrastructure is a joke, that's part of the reason why there was so much flooding in the east side of Broward County there, right? And then, all of this happened. Does this man come and be like, come to Broward County to see what he can do for all of the folks who lost their properties, lost their cars, No. He's campaigning in other states somewhere because he's trying to run to be the president, but not doing the job that he presently has, which is the governor of Florida, to look out for the residents of Florida. He's not doing that. He's out here doing all this other stuff. And I remember, usually there's a state of emergency issued. I don't know if they did that because I have some people who are renters who are like, they didn't have flood insurance, even though they had renters insurance. They didn't have flood insurance. So their damage isn't covered if you don't have flood, but it has to be. But if it's declared like a national disaster or whatever kind of emergency, then they can apply for FEMA funding. Right. Unless they did that like last week, the week right after it happened, that declaration hadn't been made, right? Mm-hmm. But I did see something about offering money for businesses to get back on their feet, right? So they were like, oh yeah, we got these programs. So they're trying to make people go back to work or help a business to go back and operate. But folks were like, the water was
people literally lost their places. People lost literally. So they don't get relief.
They're trying to, and I'm not saying, listen, I've been an entrepreneur most of my professional life, so I understand that. But at the same time, like the people house got mold and water, their furniture's on the street.
But where's the relief for no relief for people? People don't get relief, but the businesses do.
Yeah.
Okay. So and so we said all that to say
that should not be the ticket.
That's all if
it is, no one should vote for it.
If you value mechanisms that function your everyday life or whatever, that ticket right there is not going to be what's going to be there to give you some.
That ticket marks the end of America.
Period.
To me,
because both of them ignorant,
in my opinion.
I'm just saying, like they're both very obnoxious people. They're both very antagonistic.
They're not fit to lead
at all. I am I am beyond myself thinking about how DeSantis was able to win again, being that he did.
He ain't had no real competition though.
Yeah, well,
I'm just saying. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I guess.
Nope. No.
All I'm saying is that I
had no real competition. So the Democrats on that front basically gave him. They ain't get nobody. He ain't. Nah. He ain't had no competition.
So we live in Florida, and these bills, like Sandra just mentioned, she talked about the permit to carry that happens is in full force July 1st.
And Matt, check this out though. So one of my students did a presentation today, and he said basically that I think after Stoneman Douglas they had raised the age to buy a gun to 21, right, from 18 to 21. So there's a bill, and I think the number might be 1543 or something, to bring the age back down to 18. So these are the kind of things that they're doing because they don't. Well, mainly because they have a super majority, and whatever they want to do is going to happen, right? But these are the kind of things that they're doing, and not necessarily talking about it aren't being made public. These folks, they're not to be trusted. You understand? They're not to be trusted. They knew why people like rallied for that and and said no, we need to raise the age. And mind you, they're making this decision to bring the age back down to 18. But there were 55, between 51 and 55 school shootings in 2022. Okay. So we got 51 to 55 school shootings that happened in 2022, but you want to lower the age for people to get gun. And 18-year-olds are still in high school.
You want to lower the age. You now made it people don't have to carry permits.
They don't have to get a permit.
And then you sign the bill with NRA people only. You don't even sign the bill
in the middle of the night.
In the undercover.
Was the 6-week ban the one that he signed in the middle of the night for nobody?
No, it was a permitless carry. Okay. Yeah. And so my thing is that 2024 is around the corner, people.
Yeah.
2024 is around the corner. You all have to really
sign up for your vote by mail. Get your friends to sign up for their vote by mail, because that's another thing they did, is that you have to do it like every 2 years. Someone told me it's every year. I first heard every 2 years, and I also heard that it's every year. I think go check whatever it is. Go do something.
I think Chair Freed was on with us last week, and she said it was every year.
Yeah,
so you just double check.
Go do it.
I've already applied for mine, and my husband and the kids that are old enough to vote. I applied for all of them. I didn't even wait for them to do it. I did it myself, because I was like, let me just go ahead and apply, because it allows you to apply for the person, even though that's not the person applying, but you can apply for the other person.
So Save Broward, which is my parent leader Aretha Wimberly's organization, says that 2 Broward schools on lockdown within the last week because of kids with guns at school, elementary and middle school.
Yes,
dig that. Dig that.
I got somebody sent me a text about the one in elementary school, and she was saying that her son used to go there when he was in elementary school. My thing is, and that's another thing I have an issue with the district, and that we can have that would be another show. But they're in the process of trying to remove Promise program from the district. The department made a request to say that they wanted to remove it with nothing.
What department did that?
The Diversity and Equity Department. That's who's over there.
That can't be the one that you're the chair of.
No, I'm the chair of the committee. The department is run by a director, and that wasn't brought to our committee to have a conversation. I can't talk about it. But what I can say is that was said in a workshop, and staff was asking to take it away. And to take it away, and there's nothing in its place. It's just to take it away. So if you have an opportunity and you are into the Broward County Public School information, there is a workshop that happened last week. You can go ahead. It's the last 7 to 8 minutes of the workshop where they discuss this removal or requesting to take away the
Promise program.
Right. So from what I understand, post the shooting, Promise program was running up and running. How it's running, it had about like 15 15 criteria where you could be eligible. Not post, pre the shooting. Post the shooting, that dwindled down to 9. And then it became where the district is now applying civil citations to any child who is promise eligible. So, or pre-arrest, or that's the words they're using. I have to tell you, the numbers are high. In 2021, the 2021-2022 school year, they had 1,300 and some odd civil.
Is that those SIU officers that they were getting raised and extensions? Who's doing this pre-arrest thing? Who's doing that?
So what I was told was if they give it to the police people first, whatever the eligible
on campus, like the SRO, the on-campus police people.
I believe it's the city, whatever city the school is in, that police department. If they're with Broward sheriffs, it will go to the Broward sheriff's office. If it's with it, depending on the whatever infraction happened, it has to go. I guess it has to go to it may be the SRO. I'm not sure. But if the SRO and or the police station and or the police entity for that city says, "Oh, we're not taking that. That's like we're not doing that. That's petty for us. We don't want to do it."
We might need to get Harold Pryor on here. Oh, who would do that? Oh, that wouldn't be him. That would be the police department. So we're gonna have to get somebody.
It would be either whatever sheriff's department that thing, because some of our cities have their own police departments, right?
Yeah, I live in one of those cities.
So if those departments say, well, this is not enough for us that we want to take it in, right?
You know what? So the police chief of the new police chief of Miramar is Darish Moss. He used to be the police chief in Ferguson. He used to be a police chief in Miami-Dade County. I will reach out to him if any of y'all know. I'm gonna reach out to him and see if he'll come and explain to us what's actually going on here.
Absolutely.
Because the high school around here be having some issues too.
Well, what I was told,
our high school is like they stay in the news over something.
Okay, well, I was told if they turn it to the police and the police like, no, we're not taking it, it's back to the district. The jurisdiction goes back to the district. So
apparently, what does the district do?
The district will look and see if the child is eligible for Promise. They will go ahead and put them in a program from the Promise, because Promise is not just, it's a whole program. There's different programs in Promise, right? Okay. So depending on infraction, they'll put them in the Promise program, and then they automatically
want to get rid of it. So when they get rid of it, what are they going to do?
Who?
You said the district wants to get rid of the Promise program.
They don't have any. They don't have anything yet. There is nothing in place.
Okay. So we got another comment that says the Broward County Public School discipline matrix isn't implemented in all schools consistently based on the infraction. Hence, there are no real benchmarks to assess. I agree with that. I've had people reach out to me that found themselves in some alternative schools, whatever they browse version of alternative schools, because of some very explainable stuff that and the principal had some discretion, but decided to take the nuclear option and send the kid to an alternative school. So I agree with Ms. Rimberly that it's not consistent. So depending on what school you go to, if the school already got the money for you, because they only want you in school that 1 week, you know what I'm saying, to get their funding. And once that funding come through, half the time they don't care if you're there or not, because they done got the money for you. So yeah.
What, in terms of the Promise program, you mean?
No, in terms of like she's talking about the discipline matrix. So if a kid gets in trouble in school, there's a matrix that they're supposed to go through, and there's a whole bunch of different ways that they can resolve the matter, right? Mm-hmm. So if the school has already gotten funded for a student, and then they end up doing something that they can send them to one of the alternative schools, they'll send them to the alternative school because it don't matter. It's never mind to them, right?
Well, they have a time frame. They can't stay in alternative school the entire time.
But depending on what they did, they go for 100. They can go there for anywhere from 90 to 180 days. That's the whole school year. That's half a whole school year, depending on what it is. So they can, once they're gone, that's a whole. They have to do all those days. So if they they got the 180-day situation, if it ain't 180 days left in that school year, they finish out that school year, and when the next school year starts, they go back and finish that time. So yes, school can in fact send them to another school, even though they've already been funded for that student.
Right. So what I was told also is that the discipline matrix has a committee that goes over the discipline matrix every year. So is within this committee, I was told that this was discussed about removing the promise program. However,
is there any diversity on that committee?
However, let me just say, they were too shy of quorum. So that's one issue I have. There is diversity because the NAACP president is on that committee. I think there is someone from either the state attorney's office or the public defender's office on that committee. And then they have community stakeholders. I have information that I can send out to you so you can see how that they make that up. So one of the questions I said, okay, well, why is no one from the diversity committee part of this discipline committee? Apparently we can't be part of that committee because of the makeup of it. But I was told that that the NAACP president does come to the meetings. Apparently she was not at that particular meeting. They were talking about removing promise because if you know,
she's an advocate of promise.
I think she was part of the inception of promise. I think it was her and a few other people who try to create this program. So I was in shock. I literally was in shock when I saw that on the somebody texted me and say, hey, they're trying to get rid of promise. Do you know about that? So I had to turn on the workshop to see, and sure enough, it was a staff recommendation to remove it.
So that didn't have to be. Oh, so they don't do agenda items, so no one would have known ahead of time that was going to be part of the discussion.
I think that the initial when they were on there, I guess they were supposed to give a report from the committee for the discipline matrix, and at that time, without quorum, she brought it up anyway and said this is something that staff would like to remove. And from my understanding, the reason why they want to remove it is because they no longer, the district don't want to be in the business of giving civil citations.
Okay, we're gonna have to inquire and get some more information on this in order for us to have a really
robust conversation.
Robust conversation that's providing information, a better understanding of it. And I will definitely do that, and we'll plan an upcoming show to deal specifically with that particular issue and see if we can maybe get someone to come in that's familiar with it and talk about that, because that is definitely of concern. Because the last thing we need to do is start locking kids up again. You know what I'm saying? So because that ends up being one of those situations where we know who gets impacted by.
If you even look at the numbers, the civil citation that the district is giving out, that they dished out, which is like 1,300 or whatever, at least 80% is children of color. And no lie. I'm just telling you. So my thing is and then the other thing that's interesting, when you look outside to the municipalities, the police municipalities, you ask me how many civil citations they got to kids. Ask me what the numbers are. Some of them have one. Are you listening to me? Some of them have one. Some of them have two. Some of them have three. There's not a whole bunch of civil citations. They're not issuing out civil citations.
So are they not they're not issuing civil citations, but are they arresting kids and overcharging them, or they're just kind of like, yeah, we ain't got no time for that? Because I know one of the things that our state attorney had decided to do was he basically had conversations. At least this was my understanding. Is that he had conversations with the police department. So don't bring us this nonsense because we're not prosecuting this nonsense, right? Mm-hmm. So in some instances, there are things where what they used to arrest folks for, which are really nuisance type arrests, they're not doing them anymore because the prosecutor has basically said, listen, we're not going to be dealing with this nonsense. There's too much real stuff happening that we need to focus on than for us to be dealing with all these nuisance arrests. So that might be the reason. Hopefully that's the reason, is because they're not.
I don't know about the arrest part, but I can always get that information because I do once a month go on this meeting that happens, is an advisory board to judges and police departments. And it's the C-17, I think, the district for juvenile justice. So they always talk about those numbers. So I can find out from those numbers, but from the last meeting I was in, very little arrests, very little civil citation. The fact that the district is giving so much civil citation, because once they become promise eligible, they automatically get it. They automatically get a civil citation. It's not.
And I wonder what's the infraction, because I heard they had a vaping problem in the schools.
They do. They have vaping problems. Yes, they do. They have vaping problems. They have, thief stealing problems, thievery and all that other stuff. And those carry they're promise eligible.
Listen, you touch somebody's phone, you've committed a felony. You know what I'm saying? Like the phones don't cost like $100 no more, right? Like you mess around and take a person's phone, even if it's a joke or not, you're looking at a felony already. So yeah. So that's part of what it is. It's certain. Like,
and it's tough because there was a mention about if you have 20 grams of marijuana, you get this certain.
So 20 grams or more is a felony. Under 20 grams is a misdemeanor.
Right. So in terms of the school, 20 grams is something. 21 grams is something else.
Because 20 grams or more is a felony. So they have to, they have to charge as a felony, and they probably have to call it. Do they have a scale? How do they know how much it is? So that's a whole nother conversation.
I don't know. But there's a disconnect, and there needs to be something in the middle that we need to, because kids are kids, and I'm not making excuses for them, but they need correction. Some kids need corrections on a daily basis. Some kids need correction every so often, but correction is correction. And I don't believe.
They got staff shortages. You trying to make them do more work? They don't got enough teachers in the classroom. They don't got no subs. They don't got no speech language therapists. They don't got no, it's a whole bunch of people they ain't got. And then, and I'm not, listen, I'm an immigrant, so I don't talk about immigrants, but I know they had to bring in some foreign nationals to come in to help with the Broward County school system. I don't know how that transition is, how people are adjusting to that, new normal. So it's a lot. And mind you, these kids are just coming back to school after COVID, and no one's acting, and everyone's acting as though COVID, being home for that during that time of COVID, didn't have any kind of psychological impact on children and adults. Y'all need to just own up to it, and then we will be able to move forward. But to act like we are all okay or like business as usual because COVID ain't rampant, that's part of the problem, because y'all not taking into consideration.
They don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to acknowledge it at all. I'm working substitute teaching for this whole week or whatever. Them kids are agitated.
Yeah.
They're agitated. And then there was a conversation we both had about the phone. There's a video going on with a kid fighting a substitute teacher over the phone, and we were talking about it. I saw it firsthand. It is addictive.
Yeah, no, those do their work. It's an addiction. Don't even think about, don't call it nothing else. Having your phone is pretty much an addiction, right? Mm-hmm. And so when the teacher's taking a kid's phone, that's like taking the crack pipe from the crack addict. It's the same type of situation. Yes, one is worse. You want to say like the crack is worse because it's obvious when folks are using crack for the most part. So it's always looked as like a terrible thing. It's an addiction nonetheless. These kids are addicts when it comes to these phones and all of this other stuff. And so when you take them and they respond that way, if you understand that it's an addiction, the reaction will not surprise you. But if you're trying to act like, oh no, it's just the phone, it's no big deal, then you're shocked by the fact that this girl was ready to take this woman's head off for taking her phone.
So I think that there's a program called, well, not program. There's something that the district has instituted is called social emotional learning, and that's another thing that the governor's trying to attack and want to get rid of. Because he was like, I don't need them to learn about their feelings. What do they have feelings with math? And it's like, sir,
listen, people need to understand their feelings. People need to understand this. I was having a conversation with someone earlier, and my son was doing some stuff that got me mad. Like I was like, and she said, oh, and you didn't do anything about it. I was like, listen, lady, I got so much other stuff that I'm mad about that if I did start yelling at my kid because of what he did, he gonna catch the smoke for all the other stuff that I really can't control in this moment. So I'm gonna have to leave the boy alone because I can't manage the amount of smoke I'm gonna give him just because I'm so frustrated with a bunch of other things. So I'm like, no, I can't do that. So we need to pay attention to people's emotions. The fact that you're trying to ignore the fact that we got a lot going on, and half the time people are like stressed and anxious and don't understand, and they don't even understand why. Like the other day I ordered some cereal, right? Because I'm still not, I should be going to the grocery store, but I still kind of don't go like I should, right? So I order stuff, and then they bought me a box of cereal, and a box of cereal is significantly smaller than it used to be, but it costs more, right? So if you're not a person that's paying attention to like the ounces or the this or whatever, you're like, well, why does cereal finish in 2 days and I paid more for it? Because the box is smaller and you're getting a lot less cereal. So people are feeling stressed and they probably can't even, they can't figure it out because they're like, I thought I bought food yesterday. Yep. Yes, the food is gone. And so now you're spending more money. Everything is costing you more. And they probably add like a little bit here and a little bit there. But all those little bits add up to a lot. And it creates stress and anxiety in folks that they probably can't even recognize. So, Mr. Governor, you need to start acknowledging people's feelings and let people, especially children, they absolutely can't process it, right? And they're probably, and the children are probably taking on the stress of the parents.
Yes.
So we out here got more bills to pay and ain't nobody making no more money, but you got to figure it out because we all gonna be on the streets if we don't, right?
So they do have to pay attention. There wasn't a class and one of the little girls was like, oh, my Wi-Fi wasn't working at home, so I wasn't able to do the homework. Do you think I'm gonna get, some time to do it? I said, well, I'm not sure. I know your teacher said that they gave you 2 days to do it or whatever. She said it hasn't been working all week. So at first you can see that she was hesitant to say it because she didn't want to say it out loud to everybody. So she walks up to me and she tells me, I said, okay, well, do you want to try to do that now and see if you can finish it today and all that? She's like, I'm gonna do the best that I can to finish it today, but I know I'm not gonna be because I have another assignment today. So I said, okay, or whatever. But you can tell that it bothered this child the entire class period. And when you talk about social emotional learning, that's moving into to curriculum. That's what the district is trying to do. And that helps them to tap into these kids that are having these little issues or whatever. But if you have a governor who's saying, well, we're going to strip the district of social emotional learning, I don't need my kid to feel how they feel about math. It's not even the fact that he can say that and not understand the real issue and what social emotional learning is all about. Mm-hmm. Tells you he is so far removed.
Yeah.
So far removed. Yeah. It's daunting to me. It's so far, but these kids need that social emotional learning. They need someone to show that they care. They need someone there. When I say they agitated, they can't sit still. They cannot sit still.
And the fact that the Wi-Fi wasn't working in the house for whatever reason that is, that ain't got nothing to do with that kid, right? We don't know if the parent couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like we don't know if the parent couldn't pay whatever, or we don't know if like Comcast decided to do whatever nonsense they doing, you know. Because like, for instance, like my phone has like a data plan, which I thought I had unlimited data. I thought I did, but every now and then I get these text messages like I've used up all the data or whatever. And then even when I come into the house, like it wants to connect to the Wi-Fi before it connects to the phone. And, it's like all of these companies are playing these games on folks, right? And that's the kind of stuff that, again, a lot of time people aren't paying attention to. Because even when I go outside, like when I leave the house and I walk the dog now, so I use the Peloton app, I have to turn off the Wi-Fi part and connect to my phone, because if it goes to the Xfinity Wi-Fi, nothing works, right? So these are all little things that people probably aren't paying attention to that's causing stress and aggravation in their life, and bringing tension for them into the house, into the classroom, just all over the place. So we do need to pay attention to people's emotion and stop trying to act like COVID ain't mess us all up and that corporations aren't, messing us
over. Getting over on people.
Yes.
Yeah. So, we need elected officials, governors, senators who are going to tell these big corporations and those and
they don't do that though, because some people, and the crazy thing is like the fact that they think it's the corporations that get them elected is a whole joke, right?
You know what I'm saying?
You got to get all our votes, right? And all so people understand the power of their vote.
Girl, to me, it boggles my mind how they're willing to serve the few and ignore the many. And the
many got tricked. The many has been bamboozled. The many is falling for the okie doke.
I don't understand it. 2024 around the corner. I'm telling you, they were talking about democracy was on the ballot. Listen, livelihoods are on the ballot. Okay, bills, food, rent, all of that's on the ballot.
Well, if you got a place to stay, is on the ballot.
On the ballot.
I'm so disgusted. Like, I don't know, disgusted, but I'm so like through Florida right now. I'm willing to move to Alabama because at least I know what Alabama doing. Right? Alabama ain't trying to trick me. They're like, this what we about. You with it? If you all come on, right? Florida out here trying to act like it's something it ain't. You understand what I'm saying? Like, for real, like Florida.
Florida got you on the
Alabama. I know what I'm getting. Florida out here
Florida is like a dating app, and they give you a picture, and when you get there, something else. Like, wait a minute, you don't even remotely look like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Florida doing. Florida out here bamboozling people left, right, and center.
Florida out here with the trickery, so
all day with the buffoonery. So listen, 2024 around the corner. What's happening in the legislature and Florida legislature is nothing nice.
And you can change it. You can absolutely change it into we can change it in 24. We can get rid of the super majority. The minute you get rid of the super majority, all this nonsense ain't gonna happen because they're gonna have to negotiate with folks. And then we can get some concessions. And even all of these laws that are going into place July the 1st, they can all get repealed. They can all get repealed, but we have to put in the work and we have to do what we need to do in 24 to get those folks out of there.
Because it ain't no joke. So
it don't make no sense. I mean, they're literally standing on your neck and telling you to stand up.
Your neck's on the ballot in 2024. I'm just saying, everything you hold near and dear, every mundane thing that you do every day, everything that you think is not worth it is on the ballot.
It's all worth it.
And we can change it. And we can change it with a stroke of a vote. So I suggest that you make sure you apply for your mail-in ballot.
Go by mail ballot. Make sure you're registered, that they didn't throw you off the rolls. Make sure everybody who could vote is registered.
And start from now with the caravan. Start from now planning. We plan early because I'm telling you, there's nothing more important than your vote. That's why they work so hard to make sure you can't have it. They work hard to give you such a hard time. Yep. So this is what we're going to, every time they throw something at us, we got to work it legally so we can make sure they understand, okay, so you want to throw it this way, that's fine. We still going to be able to get where we need to be.
Use it as motivation, man. Use it as motivation. And so Aretha had made a point about, she said, meanwhile, teachers, she called them bad apples, are getting away with behaviors that might rise to the definition of child abuse. Teachers want to be friends, quote unquote, until it gets out of control, then snap on the students. Yeah. Yep.
So I'm gonna tell you something, Aretha. Something happened to somebody, a family member of mine. And there was a teacher who was in a classroom, a teacher that I know, and said to the student, the kids were goofing off. Then said to the student, "You need to call your mother." That particular student's mother passed away. Okay? So she continued on. According to her, because I confronted her about it, according to her, she said, well, he said his mother passed away, but you know how kids are. I said, no.
You think she thought the kid lied about that?
Yes. So I said, no. I said, whether this kid was related to me or not, still unacceptable. I said, you need to give children the benefit of the doubt. But for anything, you should have said, pull this kid to the side and say, hey, you said your mother passed away. Is that true? And if it is,
no, you don't even question whether that's true. You apologize, and you don't question that. Why you should just say parent or guardian. But if you don't question, listen.
That's my thing. That's my thing. Home dynamics are very different. I never use the word mom or dad. I always say your parents. I never say anything with nothing that has any kind of what you call it.
That's it. Parent or guardian.
Not only did she not believe him. The other kids in the classroom said, his mom is dead. Why are you doing that? And she doubled down and called security to have this child removed. Okay. The child is removed out of and that's what I'm talking about, Aretha, that you mentioned. That is abuse. Have the child removed. The kid finally gets to an administrator. The kid is unconsolable, right? And then when they come and talk to her about it, she's doubling down to what really upset me is when I told him to go sit down and he stopped to take a drink. That really threw me over. I said, this is how petty you are? Are you being petty? I said, you're the adult in the situation. You always give a child the benefit of the doubt. You never say that that's not what that is. And now in retrospect, so I said to her, you owe him an apology. And I want that apology today.
They left her in the class?
She is this media specialist, but when there's teachers who are out and they don't have enough subs, they will pull her out and have her cover classes.
I would have had to send her on a break. Well, I mean, like she couldn't. I don't know what they do to teachers when they do stuff like that. But I'd have sent her home for a few days without paying something. Ain't no different way. No, ma'am.
And even with me confronting her,
maybe that's extreme, but she would have. No,
even
no,
with me with me confronting her, she still was trying to double down. I said, "You don't get it." I said that was wholly inappropriate. I said the only reason I didn't come to you a few days ago because I was still enraged. Now I had an opportunity to calm down a little bit, but you're wholly inappropriate. You owe him an apology. Period. I don't. There's no if and.
He probably don't want it because he knows she don't mean it. So,
anywho, that was just my story, Aretha. You right. There's some of them that just behave in such a way that, by definition, you right, it is child abuse. But again, when you have a staff that's there's not enough teachers in the district. There's not enough support staff. You don't have bus drivers. It's a whole mess. It's a whole mess. And I don't know what the district is doing to kind of attract people to come here or work on it, whatever. I think they're focused on everything else except what's more important, in my opinion. That's just my humble opinion.
Oh, Aretha, I don't know if I want to read that. So Aretha's watching on YouTube and she says she heard a media specialist tell students that white kids are doing better than they are because they are lazy and don't listen. Black women talking to black kids. Good Lord. Right? All skin folk and kinfolk. So
I've been said that. But anywho,
we gotta vote, y'all. We gotta vote. We gotta vote.
We gotta vote. We got to
vote. You gotta make sure you register.
Anything else about our show? All you remember is voting. We've done our job. You need to vote.
Yes.
Vote because your life literally depends on it. Like it depended on it before, but literally now, like that is between life and death. I'm serious. This is how dire the situation is. Vote like your life truly depends on it. I promise you. So y'all get it together. Y'all get it together.
Yeah. So we ain't talk about Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson.
Well, Don Tucker can go. Don,
all of them got fired. You know, the other day. Media is.
I don't know. I'm surprised they followed. They fired Tucker. Little Tucker. I'm surprised they fired him. I mean, but then you saw the lady come out. There was a producer that came out. She got 90 recordings of him being inappropriate.
Well, they had them 90 recordings before. Those 90 recordings did not happen yesterday. Those 90 recordings have been in existence for years, and I suspect they knew about them. So the fact that they coming out with that right now to justify that them firing this dude that they probably should have fired long ago because he's done so much damage to the country, I ain't impressed.
They fired them because they got to shell out that $700-something million settlement. You know that
he's done a lot of damage already. So if I don't care about your 90 recordings because they're not new.
It wasn't damage for them. It was damage for other people. But the damage for them.
It's damaging. They see what's going on.
No, but they didn't care. When they started messing with their pockets, that's when they started to care. They're like, yeah, we've had enough. Now Don Lemon, I don't know.
Don Lemon was over there talking about white women. He ain't no better. Yeah, they're calling them old and beyond their prime or whatever. You can't talk about no white women. They're the only ones that benefits from like affirmative action and
they show enough do
minorities or whoever do stuff. And I ain't hating on no white women. I got a whole bunch of white women friends.
Right.
But I'm just saying they always seem to come on top at the expense of everybody else.
Everybody else. It is what it is. It is what it is. So Don, if you hear this,
Don to that morning show, and them two chicks got a job, and he got more experience than at least one of them, if not both. But okay,
Mr. Lemon, if you can hear us, we speak. When you talk about the
he gonna be all right though.
You're gonna be all right, but when you talk about the Cauliflower Coalition,
Listen, I ain't calling nobody out their name. I'm just saying what it is, right?
Yeah, you are, but I am. I mean, you can't do that. You can't do that with these ladies.
I'm just saying that they always seem to be like everybody, the Me Too. The black women came out with the Me Too movement and stuff, and we still out here getting sexually harassed, but the rest of them getting like $50 million checks and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
And they're like cats. They land on
the whole diversity thing came out. George Floyd, all the people died, and they, all of these companies want to do this diversity.
Is it me that's frozen or is it you that's frozen? I can't tell. I think it might be her. So, yeah, it could be because of the weather.
Wait, no, it's because of Comcast. They want me talking about the white ladies. Xfinity was like, listen.
You're not going to talk about our white women now. Don't do it. We'll cut you off at the knee. We'll cut you off at the knee.
They cut me off mid-sentence. Like, we will protect them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so that means
but the last point I was going to make is like 2020, all the social justice stuff, all these companies were into diversity, inclusion, and all of that kind of stuff. All the people of color are pretty much out of their jobs right now. And,
the white women are still living on.
Standing.
They still standing. Well, I hope.
And Gucci booty feet.
And their Gucci booty feet. I hope that the white women in Florida.
Oh, is it Bill Barr? That comedian, Bill Barr.
It's Bill Barr. Okay. I hope that the white women in Florida take offense to the direction of their governor on trying to get rid of diversity and inclusion and all that other stuff, because that affects y'all too. So
that affects y'all too.
So I think maybe you should maybe pay close attention to that.
The reproductive rights is gonna come and affect you, and if not you, your children.
I'm just
saying. So
by that time we can't help you because we've lost all our jobs and we trying to rebuild. So. All right, y'all. So
we'll be moving to Alabama or Cartagena, Colombia, or something.
I might be right behind you, child, because I need to. I prefer somebody to be rude in my face than be.
Listen. Let me know what those are rules. Okay, I got you. This whole like
around the parameters,
the slippery stuff. I don't do slippery well.
Slippery slope. But if you want to be rude and disrespectful to my,
and I know, I'll be like, all right, bro.
I see. Listen. I see you. I see you. So if it is what it is,
talk about me in my face. I appreciate it.
Yes, but this thing behind that's dangerous, child.
Yeah,
and I don't like living on. I don't like living on the edge. I don't like living on the edge.
Whatever this is, I'm over it. But all right, thank you all for hanging in there.
Yep. And we
got work to do for 24.
Yep.
We got a lot of work to do.
We'll be back next week talking about voting again, but something might pop off in between now and next week.
Probably try to get. I'm gonna work on getting someone to come and talk about this discipline matrix. These municipalities, at least these law enforcement agencies, not doing the solicitation. What that means, what that looks like. So we have a lot to talk about. We're gonna get in some school board stuff too. So we'll be around all summer. We're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff going on.
And check us out. We'll be here. All right.
Subscribe to the page on YouTube. Thank you, Aretha, for watching on YouTube. We appreciate it.
And thank you for the other 3 people or the other 4 people.
Oh, 5. I see 5 on my end. Thank you.
So thank you all for joining and hanging with us.
Share the video.
All right. Talk to you all soon. Next week.